Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Just a quick heads up before we get into the video. This one ran way longer than we expected to. This is essentially us running through the Rainbow Six Year 4 content and what we would want to see, what operators we want to see. We've come up with our own and just sort of pitched them to each other to see what sticks and what doesn't. Do we have good ideas? Do we have bad ideas? And then towards the end, we pick up on some quality of life pickups that we would want for Rainbow Six Siege and things introduced during the Year 4. Like I say, this one ran way longer than we thought it would. We don't cover the Australian operators, which we know are the first to drop for Year 4, so we're just pitching our own. If you make it to the end of this video, you're clearly a big Rainbow Six fan, so, you know, fair enough. But let's just jump into it. Jack, you're going to start us off by going through who you think the first other new operator team will be. So after the Australians, who are we getting? Fire away. Pitch me your operators.
I've been talking about this one since the game came out, right? I don't understand why we haven't got it yet. It's an Israeli CTU. The attacker, right, is going to be is going to have a Tavor, but his main ability is going to be a corner shot. And I don't know why we haven't had a corner shot yet, because it's like the staple of Siege technology. So it's this little, it's like this little polymer sort of attachment for a gun where you slot your pistol in the end, and then you can point it at a 90-degree angle left or right, and you get a little screen, and you can use it to shoot round corners. Okay. It's fairly old now. So what I'm thinking is they're going to have like a little corner shot, but the attacker is going to have a Tavor, obviously, the Israeli weapon, and his sidearm, instead of having just a regular pistol, he's only going to be able to use the corner shot. So he's going to bring it up, and then instead of leaning, that's when the lean buttons are going to bend it left and right, and then you'll be able to just look around corners. It's not going to do a lot of damage, but that's how, you know, the corner shot's going to be implemented finally.
Okay.
But that's my first attacker.
Attacker?
Yeah.
I thought that'd be more of a defense, but alright. Okay.
What, do you want my Israeli defender?
Well, no, yeah, I just thought that sounded a bit more of like a defending gadget, but that's fine. Carry on.
Well, my Israeli defender obviously is going to have an Uzi as his weapon. Not the micro Uzi, obviously the full-scale, full-size Uzi. And Ben, have you ever heard of directed sound weaponry?
Of course.
Good. So, my defender, I'm thinking, obviously this isn't based on anything, like I said, this is just us thinking up stuff. He's going to use, he's going to be able to place, so in my head, they look like big speakers on like tripods. And they're going to direct a sound beam, like directed sound weaponry, as it is. And if you're an attacker and you step into that beam, you can't hear it at all. You can't even see it. It doesn't have like a thing. Well, yeah, maybe have like a little graphical, like sort of, you know, like a wavy effect or something. Some shit like that. And if you step into it, all of a sudden you can't hear anything. You get deafened by this sound attack, and you have to step out of it until you're a little bit disoriented. Kind of like how Ella's shock mine works, but it only works in this one beam in this one direction. And the defender, he's going to have two of them. So we could say set them up like in a doorway. So like you bash open the door and all of a sudden you get hit with this directed sound weaponry, or you know, use it to zone out a corridor sort of thing.
That's quite cool.
That's my defender.
I quite like that idea. Have you written down sort of what they're 3 speeds or anything like that?
No, because I mean, the attacker, I think with his corner shot, he's probably going to be quite a heavy, slow bloke because he's going to be creeping around corners. And I think for the defender, he's going to be maybe like a medium ground between speed and armor.
Okay. Because
he's got to put down these two things, and then after that, he's using them as defending and sort of zoning out areas.
Yeah. Okay. I quite like the corner shot one. I don't really like the idea. Only because I don't know what you're on about. I don't see how. I think if you showed me one example of a gun that can do a corner shot, I'd be like, yeah, okay, I see how it works.
Yeah, I'll find you one.
Yeah, I'm gonna a quick Google. That's not what I thought. It was just a gun with like a barrel that could.
No, it's just a thing. You just slot your pistol in the end and then bend it around the corner.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That actually looks quite. I can see that being implemented into Siege. Actually, that looks like it should.
Exactly.
Yeah,
that's what I've been saying since day one, and I was so surprised it didn't have it when the game launched. I'm like, okay, this is a bit weird. And then every like new operator when they come out, I was like, come on, they've got to have a corner shot. When are they ringing out the corner shot? So
okay.
Even though we probably won't get it, but I'm just calling it because I'm going to call it every year. Is the corner shot's coming? The corner shot's coming.
Okay. What are the what would the counters be for those? So the corner shot, because that's not an exclusively electronic weapon. So like, would a Thatcher be able to
I mean,
it would knock out the screen, I guess.
yeah,
That
I'm
would
not
sort of
completely
be
sure how it works, but the problem is Thatcher's also an attacker.
Oh yeah, of course it is. Yeah.
I don't know if it uses mirrors or what. I think it does just use a camera. I mean, I'm guessing. Well, Pulse could be. If Pulse was good again, finding around corners. I think it's going to be like maybe it will encourage people to not put up reinforced walls, because if you've got someone hiding behind it, that's also cover for that team.
Yeah, that would actually change out quite. Maybe that's why they've not brought it in just yet, because it sort of switches up that dynamic of reinforcement.
Yeah, I'm sure. Like, I reckon it's probably a really hard one to balance.
Yeah.
But I still think it's coming one day.
Speaking of hard one to balance, I like those two ideas. I quite like them. We're gonna come back to your two other operators, but I'm just gonna jump in here. I pitched this operator to you a while ago, but for some reason when I was writing it, just completely went in the opposite direction. So my attacker is going to be designed as an ultra aggressive player. He's basically going to be the biggest pain. He's designed to be the pain in the arse for the defending team. So I've got him down as a 3-speed 1 armor, codename Bait, and he's going to be running around with 3 flashbangs, a generic assault rifle which can do good medium to long range damage.
What's a generic assault rifle, Ben?
I don't know. I've literally got written down here. I'm not a gun person like Jack, so bear with me. I don't know guns at all. So yeah, it's good mid to long range. I don't know. It's got a decent fire rate, I guess. Sort of. I've based the guns sort of from Alibi and Frost's rifles. I think that
they're not rifles, so.
Well, no, but you know that sort of fire rate, somewhat like that,
yeah.
Quite light, mid range, long distance, etc. But his gadget is going to be, he can pull out 2 SMGs and go full akimbo. Now, with this, the payoff will be he cannot aim down sights, obviously, because he's gone akimbo. But both of the SMGs are going to have extended magazines, and the recoil and accuracy of them is going to be pretty shocking. But the full logistics of his role, basically the way he's designed, is to basically flank, run off on his own from the beginning, get round to the other side of the bomb site or whatever, and then just be as annoying as possible. So create little murder holes, throw as many flashbangs in as possible, and then just spray through the walls constantly, keeping the defending team aimed his way, causing as much noise while the rest of your team sort of comes in from behind. Now again, I'm not too sure how this is balanced out, because I was going to give him impact grenades as well, but then I think he might be a little bit too much. But essentially you just want this guy to run in, be flashing, causing as much noise and distraction as possible. I wouldn't say you play as him to get kills. This is more of it's definitely you play the objective with this person. But yeah, very loud. But an akimbo operator, I really want some akimbo action in Siege. Yay or nay?
I'm not too sure about the akimbo. I like the idea of having someone who's just a distraction character. I don't think the akimbo is going to work in Siege too well, unless they were like akimbo all the time.
Well, no, this
turn
is
that off.
The way that I've sort of designed him to be balanced is because essentially you want this guy to be running off on your own, to be annoying and cause as much distraction while the rest of the team runs around. The problem with that is you sort of need him to be fully stacked out to be a problem, to keep all of the attention on him, but then you're going to end up with people just playing him to get the kills, and then they can take out the whole team. So I've sort of, with the akimbo gadget, I guess it would be a gadget, by making that really inaccurate, you sort of have to play the objective rather than go for the kills. So if you're playing as him, it would be a case of you want to get the rest of your team in behind by causing as much distraction as possible. I was thinking maybe he's got like, again, I don't know guns, maybe his the bullets or whatever in the SMGs can fire through undefended walls and create much bigger holes than what normal bullets would. I don't know, just sort of like up the caliber of bullets.
Why not give him a shotgun then? Like a big, loud and proud shotgun that will make lots of noise.
Maybe. Yeah, like
really scary. So like the AA-12 or USAS-12. So you just go up to a wall, just fucking like completely cut it down like it's a tree, make loads of noise, make all the defenders be like, what the fuck is that?
Yeah. But that's the main operator for the attacking. He's more of a annoyance and used to flank the enemy. But yeah, that's my first operator Bait. My second operator, I've written a lot more for my second operator, so bear with me while I explain this one. They're called Wily. This is, and I think Yuri were going to really like it or really hate it. Now, with all of the gadgets that we've seen in Siege, there's a gradual increase into how futuristic they're going, but it's sort of kept within the realm of possibility. So like with Alibi, having little portable holograms, etc. We've got Echo's drones that can go invisible. So I'm sort of following that sort of mindset for this one. Okay, so sticking with their weapons, again, mid-range, high fire rate, primary. Again, just think Alibi or Mirror's Vector, something like that. And then with a Magnum as a secondary pistol or whatever. But the ability is going to be, think of Alibi again. Alibi is a main of mine. She's a fave. Also, players her bloody constantly. So
She's your waifu.
She's waifu. So I want you to picture her gadgets the way that you throw them down and you get the little person's hologram, because it's essentially going to work like that. But instead of people, you're going to have holographic walls instead, which can be placed in the middle of a corridor. So let's say you've got a long corridor. You can run to sort of like the middle of it. There'll be certain anchor points of how normal walls work anyway. But say in the middle of the corridor, you can lay down this bar and then pull up this sort of rod, I guess, and then it will project a mirror image down that hallway. So if you're on the other side and you turn to look down the hallway, you just see a dead end. It's just a wall, but it's completely fake. It works the exact same way as Alibi's fake people. So a drone can go straight through it. You can shoot through it straight away. You can walk through it. It's just a fake wall. It's sort of an illusion. And again, playing into Alibi's sort of forte, I guess. Alibi's gadget is mainly used to distract or get in the heads of the attacking enemy, make them not very paranoid. I don't think anybody runs around paranoid, but that was sort of how they marketed it, of how she gets in your head. But it's the same idea, because we're playing these maps so many times, we've been through them so many times. Adding in 2 walls randomly, it comes down to the attacking team's map knowledge. Can they tell that that's definitely the fake wall or not? They can walk straight through it, etc. I'm unsure whether of how it would work for the defender side, because initially it's a bit OP, because you can sort of use it as a black mirror where you can all just stand on the other side of the wall and wait for them to run down the hallway. They wouldn't see you, but you would see them. So I don't know whether to block it off from both sides so it's not one way. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah. But yeah, essentially this ability is designed to obviously keep the objective hidden for as long as possible. It's mainly, again, you're playing the objective. You want the timer to run down as much as possible here. So by adding in 2 walls to block off access might mean they waste an extra 30-40 seconds before they realise one of these walls is fake and then just walk straight through it, etc. But I really like this idea.
I like that a lot as well. That's pretty good.
It sounds quite OP, because like I say, if it's one way, you can just have all of the defenders sat in the hallway in the open and then wait for the attackers to come running in because they won't see them. But then if it's both ways, again, you can still have the defending team sort of behind cover, just aiming at the wall, waiting for them to run through. But then also, these walls are really easy to get rid of. So an EMP, they can be hacked by Dockerby, etc. They're fairly easy to handle, and you can shoot them out because there'll be the bar on the floor as well. The bar's not going to be massively obvious, but I think once you know what you're looking for, then it'll be a fairly easy spot. So you can shoot them out, Thatcher can take them out, Dockerby will be able to hack them.
IQ could probably spot them.
IQ could probably spot them. So there are lots of ways to take these out fairly easily. But yeah, I really like this idea. I think, and I can see this one being brought in as well, because I think with Alibi, the fact that I know they're sort of like holographic technology and stuff, it's not massively sci-fi, but I think it works really well in Siege. And I know that's biased because I use Alibi all the time. But yeah, I think bring in some walls would be good. I don't know whether to balance this out by not giving this operator 2 reinforcements. So they would have to run off and just drop 2 holographic walls, and that is their 2 reinforcements. I think giving them 2 normal reinforcement walls and then 2 holographic walls might be a bit OP, but yeah, that's essentially the ability for Wily.
I like that quite a lot. I like how that messes with like the map itself.
Yeah,
And, like,
and like I
changes
said,
your
they're
map
completely so you can walk through them.
Yeah.
There's going to be no extra defense. It's just the illusion of having a wall there. I think that could really help change up the game quite a lot. And it's also one of those things where you don't have to use it as a defense to hide the bomb site or whatever. Because if you want to go off and roam, then you can just hide yourself behind a wall, etc. Quickly peek out every now and then, and yeah, I think that would make quite a lot of good roaming spots throughout the map. So I quite like that one. I really, really like that one.
I think that's cool. I mean, I'm sort of imagining it like, maybe say, you know how Cap can, he drills his things into like the side.
Yeah.
So if you could drill it into like door frames as well, or like the edges of corridors. So you could do like a door frame one. And then the way I'm thinking of balancing it is, instead of it just be showing an empty corridor, it just shows a mirrored image of what it's looking at.
Yeah,
so
that's
just
what
like
I've
you
got
walk
here.
into like a big mirror.
Yeah, that's what I've got here. So once it goes up, it will either create a mirrored image of its surroundings, which can be the giveaway, because then whoever's playing as Wily would have to be aware what is it going to mirror, because then that might be what gives it away, sort of thing. So yeah,
so if it like mirrors like a wall that wasn't reinforced but is now reinforced, it'd be like,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, or like if you did it near some stairs, etc., because then it's going to mirror. So then there'd be two staircases. So I'm thinking sort of like in Villa, I think, if you come up to the top of the staircase and then turn right, and then you had a wall there. If it's a mirrored image, once you get to the top of the stairs, there would be a projection of another staircase going straight down. So that immediately would be like, well, that's clearly fake, because we all know, like, that's what I mean, that those really easy giveaways based on map knowledge. But yeah, I really like that idea. I really, really like that idea.
Good. Well done.
Right, you've got two more. Fire away.
Four more, but yeah. So these operators, they're going to be these ones are from the Ukraine. But they could be from Mexico. I'm surprised we haven't had Mexican operators yet, but I just went with Ukraine for this one. This one's pretty simple. This attacker, he's not that, amazing, incredible, like, holographic walls. His AS Vows, his main weapon, just a regular, solid dude. And but his ability, he's going to be like Rook. He's going to put down like a little bag at the beginning, and the attackers can go and grab it, but all it's going to do is give them one extra gadget. There's not a lot, but I think it might be quite helpful in the time, But then again, the way of balancing it, because if you've got someone like Buck, who I've been playing a lot lately, I mean, he's already got 21 shots in his shotgun, so is it going to give him another couple mags or something? And then it will give, obviously, like Ash, she'll get like another breaching charge, so she'll have 3 in total. Twitch will have like 3 drones.
This is an attacker?
Yeah. I just feel like the attackers
That's interesting, yeah.
You need like another
guy for the attackers.
Yeah, they need like someone that does an ability that's a bit more passive, I think. Like Rook, he's got his, armor plates or whatever. You put some down and then that's it, and then everyone has his passive ability. And I just think the attackers don't really have something like that.
That's quite a good one, because it's my initial thinking there was, no way, that's going to be too OP, but it's actually not, because it's only OP if you always have somebody playing as them. But then because it's such a passive ability, I quite like that, because I in my head I'm trying to think like who are the biggest attackers who would be a pain in the ass with that, and like if you've got Ash having 3 of the wall breakers or whatever, Twitch would have an extra drone, Blackbeard would have an extra shield. I think stuff like that would really catch people off guard. I'm thinking Blackbeard especially. If you was exchanging fire with him, say you've got like a one-on-one sort of thing, and the defender takes out both of his shields, and then he's like, right, now this is an easy one, but then he comes up with a third. That might be just that slight thing to catch them off guard. I quite like that idea. What other attackers are there which would benefit? So Sledge, for example, how would that affect him?
For those ones like Sledge and the shield guys, I'm thinking maybe it'll give them, I don't know, like another grenade or whatever their ability, like a flashbang.
Just some extra equipment.
Like extra equipment, just to make it a bit, fair.
An extra breaching charge or something, whatever they've got.
Yeah.
No, I like that. I like that idea. That's a really simple one to do.
It's simple because you can just drop it and then you can just go and run and gun, and then everyone's got something.
Yeah. No, I do. I quite like that. I feel like that would be a massive pain in the arse, but again, that's the beauty of Siege. It's only if people pick them. Okay, next one. Just to let you know, I've got 1 bar of battery left on the recorder. So, speed up.
So, yeah, defenders. It's going to be a bit like Capcan. He's going to have what I was going to call a Molotov mine, because I'm quite surprised that we haven't really had any sort of fire played into the game yet. So he's going to put down like a mine, maybe 1 or 2, 3 of them, put them around a corner, you step over it, you walk past it, it's going to block, but it's not going to do as much damage as a Capcan charge, like, you know, blow up and blow you to pieces or whatever. It's going to just explode into flame, and it will start burning you, but you can get out of it and pat yourself down, but it's going to cover a wide area. So it's going to make, if you're a group of attackers and you're walking through an area and one of you trips over that mine, a lot of you is going to get covered in fire, a lot of you are going to take health damage because of it. And if you stay in the fire for too long, you die. And I'm thinking maybe as well, somehow it'll affect the map, so maybe breakable walls and doors or whatever, if they catch fire, they'll start disintegrating or what have you, until the fire like sort of cools down or what have you. But just maybe a bit of fire play in that, you know, sort of breaking up groups a bit more when they're attacking, that sort of thing.
Yeah, the only use of fire at the moment is Capital, but he's barely played at the moment.
It's not really fire, is it? It just burns oxygen.
Well, yeah,
it doesn't catch fire or anything. It just takes the oxygen out of the air.
Yeah. I can see the only reason why they've not brought fire in is where environments are fairly destructible. How long does that fire last? Does it spread? If it spreads, you would expect it to have some sort of effect on the destructible environments, etc. So I can see why they've sort of avoided fire for that reason. But I think if you played around with that, then yeah, definitely having sort of like a petrol mine or something. What was it you called it? A Molotov.
I called it a Molotov mine.
Yeah. No,
I was thinking like maybe like you know, it could look like, you know, like a jerry can with like, you know, some electronics taped to it.
Yeah.
And it just blows up and just everyone just gets covered in fire, but it doesn't do too much damage because obviously you're all covered in military equipment or what have you.
Yeah.
But it's annoying. It takes away your health, a bit like the GUI mine. But you just have to, instead of like pulling out your leg, you just have to walk out of it. And of course, it just zones out an entire area for a little bit.
Yeah, you can sort of see like sort of with the GUI mine where he has to pull the needle out, like hold F or like, and they quickly like pat themselves down, etc. Yeah. No, yeah, cool. I like that. You said you got 2 more.
Yeah.
All right, fly for them.
So we've got 2 Amish. Not Amish. Fucking hell. No technology. They just run at you with bits of wood. No, Irish Army Rangers. Because I think Irish Army Rangers are going to come at some point. So the first one is ability. He's a bit like Bait, which I was thinking when you were telling me your one. But he has, instead of, you know, just running around making lots of, he has like a noise maker gadget. And I'm not sure what this gadget would look like. My first idea was like an AR-15 like duct tape to a tripod, like a servo that pulls the trigger, so you could just set it up in the corner like a window, and it would just fire in its direct line on its own until it runs out of ammo. Or the other idea was saying, you know, like Valkyrie's Black Eyes, like you throw them down and it'll start playing noises that the defenders will hear, so you could run above them, throw down this black eye on the floor, and they'll be hearing footprints, like footsteps running around above them, but they would just be like faked noise, so they'll just be like, you know, freaking out a little bit.
Yeah.
Or, you know, maybe throw one on a wall nearby, and then it will start like making the noise of someone like punching through a wall or shooting through a wall or something.
Yeah.
So one of those 2 sort of ideas. That's my attacker, and then my defender. It's pretty simple. Because I basically because when I originally came up with the Australian operators as well, and then obviously you're like, oh no, they've been leaked, and I was like, oh okay, so get rid of them. So they were sort of made as a counter to that. The defender, he gets 2 like extra reinforcements, but what they do is they go over the reinforced walls. So I don't know how bullshit you make up, like titanium reinforced or whatever sheets, and they stop. You can only get 2 of them, so you can only pick 2 walls, and they stop Maverick and Thermite going through them, and Hibana.
So genuinely indestructible walls.
Yeah, just stops those 2 abilities, or those 3 abilities. Because my other idea for my Australian attacker was a guy that had a Ralphus round, because the Australian SAS use M95 Barretts, which are 50 cal snipers. So I had this idea that they were going to have this big rifle that you could put like 1 bullet in at a time, and it would let him shoot through a reinforced wall, but only once at a time. And he couldn't it didn't have a scope, just iron sights. So we just had to randomly you'd have to get someone to spot where they are and then try and hope you could get through and get them. But then this was sort of a counter to help that, because there's a lot of counters to get through reinforced walls. But this way you can sort of pick 2, stop them. So like, you know, the snow map, there's like a little chalet. You know, the garage, everyone comes through the garage.
Do you know, yeah, that's exactly what I had in my head. I was picturing...
You could just stop the garage entirely.
Yeah. The
no matter
problem
who
with
they've
that
got.
one is, keeping with Chalet as well, to stop Thermite and Habana, you can use Bandit and mute charges. So
But
I'm
you
just
can't stop Maverick.
no one can stop Maverick. No, yeah, it sort of forces everybody. I think if they brought that in, we would see an increase in roof hatches, maybe.
That or
Because
perhaps
then
maybe
you're only going to funnel them in like maybe one way or so. I'm not sure.
I'm thinking that, but maybe only Thermite can get through them
Yeah.
because of his Thermite charges. I'm just trying to think of a counter to Maverick because we've been playing lately, and I've just been thinking there's not a lot to counter Maverick's ability. You can just cut through it and then just shoot straight away.
Yeah, I've been maining Maverick for quite a while now, and there's nothing that can stop him. Even if the wall's electrified, you can still cut through it, and you can do it without taking damage as well. So I don't know. I don't really want to counter to Maverick because I'm maining him, so I don't really want I don't really want to talk about that. But no, I like those ideas. They're pretty good. I'm surprised that we came up with some pretty. I thought like we'd come out with like maybe one decent operator, but without being too big-headed, I quite like all of our ideas.
Pretty good, aren't they?
Yeah, they're
More
quite
than
good.
us.
They're quite good. But yeah, that's what we want to see. Those are our thoughts and suggestions on our fan fiction operators, what we would like to see, etc. Is there any other sort of things that you would want involved in Siege coming throughout? I've got written down sort of like quality of life updates and stuff. Obviously, extra maps would come, but I would really want a vote to skip option for the map, but you can only do it once. And I understand that's the point of Siege, is you have to work with whatever map you get, but the problem is this is the fourth year we're going into. There's more than enough maps which everybody loves, and for the most part all of them are above high quality. There's one or two maps which most people would disagree that we don't like, and I'm not saying to get rid of them because they have their place, but I've got it written down here. If 8 out of the 10 players vote to skip, then we move to another completely random map, but you can only vote to skip once. So if everybody agrees to vote to skip, whatever the next map is, that's it. Like, there's no choice. So I only want that just as a counter, really, for bloody Villa and Yacht, because I hate Villa.
Yeah,
I absolutely hate Villa.
I want some more like normal like location maps, because a lot of maps we get are very exotic locations.
Yeah, I feel
And I
like
just want
every
some sort
time
of-
we get in new operators, we have to get a map from that country.
And I don't mind so much it's from that country. It's just the idea of the map itself. So it's like it's a fortress. It's a big Chinese garden on top of a tower.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Qayyid's map, his house.
Yeah, like it just.
That's mental.
I'm just thinking maybe some more simple, like maybe like a hotel, or
That's cool.
a shopping mall or something.
Shopping mall would be a good idea. I'm down for that, yeah. Yeah, I want more, because I know that these are meant to be like mission-based maps, like, so if you go to the situations bit, obviously they're maps for the situations, because they're missions that Team Rainbow had to do. So yeah, maybe that they had a mission in a supermarket, etc. I think that's a really good one. That's a really good one. Or like, I don't know, like a really dense, like multi-story car park or something. I don't know. That one would be quite flat, I guess.
Multi-story car park.
No, but you know what I mean. I don't know.
It's fucking Morrison's.
Yeah, just so you can go
Maybe like
trolleys.
I was thinking when we came up with tower, like I was a bit disappointed because I've always wanted like a big sort of tower vertical map, like an office space. But tower was very not an office space. I don't know what it is.
The problem with tower is it's just not done well. I like that it's vertical. That was the worst criticism ever. I like that it's vertical map. I just don't think that's the best iteration of a vertical map. I think they can do that again. So maybe I'd like 2 more vertical maps introduced throughout year 4. Even if they're shit, at least it would show that they keep on trying to develop on that idea of having a vertical map. I think that'd be quite cool.
Yeah,
I quite like that.
I'm trying to think of other sort of places I would want. I want a space one. Obviously, Trump's Space Force. I want the Space Force CTU on a map on the International Space Station.
Yeah. Another thing which I've got written down here, which I want, along with the vote to skip, etc., is just to see like renown. I've said this to you privately, that to have renown introduced into alpha packs, because the stuff in alpha packs, if you get something, which 9 times out of 10 you get something for a player or an operative that you don't use, And again, that's meant to encourage you to use them, but for me, it just doesn't work. And I'm not asking for massive amounts of renown because I understand that's linked to the shop's economy, etc. And I understand it might mess things up there. But either being able to trade in, say if I get a shotgun skin, which I don't want, or if it's a duplicate, I can just trade that and get 200 renown, etc. I just think there needs to be some, I don't know, I just quite like to see renown introduced in any way into the Alpha Pack system. But that's sort of all I've got for quality of life and other updates.
Well, I think we should end it there because I'm really nervous about your batteries. So
yeah, so am I. I'm really nervous.
Has your ego been fed?
Yeah, that's our year 4. What we want to see, quality of life.
Our year 4 wish list.
Our year 4 wish list. That's a good one. I might put that in the thumbnail. There we go. Obviously, if you've got any suggestions or any fanfic ideas that you want to put in the comments, then feel free, but don't feel obliged. Because I'm sure all of these are wrong. But I'm looking forward to year 4. Siege is as strong as ever, and I just passed 100 hours on PC, so I've caught myself up since I switched on console. So here's to another year of being really shit at a game. Bye.
Bye.
Take